How's it going, everybody? Welcome back. This should be the finale for the air suspension project. If you haven't watched the other two episodes, please go back and watch them to see how we got to this point. Today's gonna be just wiring, plumbing, and getting everything working. So I'm already happy with where the front hose routing is for the suspension. The rear I need to relocate because they used to point up so I can use the Schrader valve. Now I want them to point forward so I can connect them with the rest of the assembly. So I'm just gonna reroute the hose up here. This hole was already there, so it's perfect for me. That's about where I wanted it anyway. The other side, I have to drill. I'm just gonna put a hole right under the intake there, basically, where the air filter is. So I'm gonna give myself some added insurance and use some Loctite 545, which is for pneumatic and hydraulic fittings, sealing the threads on everything. I'm gonna reuse the ones I had on there before. They're just push to connect. I used to run my Schrader valves off of these, but this will be where I just run my lines to from the T-fittings. All right, that part's done. All right, the next step I'm gonna take is, you can see it here. There's the Schrader valve that goes to the original one. That quick disconnects right next to it. And it's the same thing on both sides. There's one right here as well. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna disconnect, I'm gonna air out the rest of the suspension. There's still air in these from lifting the front. I'm gonna drop it and I'm gonna connect the two together with the T-fitting in the middle. And then I'm gonna send two lines into the interior of the car. One is from the tank to the supply, and then it's gonna return back to the front wheels. I'm also gonna do the same thing in the rear of the car. I'm just gonna get everything so I have the fittings prepared for the center, and I'll do everything in the middle to finish it up. So I have the two lines ran, the main feed, and I ran the one to the front. I already hooked that up. I connected the front line to the paddle valve on the left, so I wouldn't forget. And then this line here is my main feed from the tank. And so I gotta do a split to get the gauge to work. And then I'll do a second split to feed both of the paddle valves. That'll be pretty simple. In the time lapse, I was putting this on all the line. It's a thermal protector. So anywhere there's heat, I just want to put it throughout the whole car though, just to protect it against any abrasions that could happen. I don't want any leaks. So I'm gonna put it pretty much everywhere I can, especially near the radiator and engine. But if I can, I will do the whole interior as well. All right, so now I gotta attach the Y. That'll go to the two paddle valves to feed it. Be hard to see on camera here, but I'm just pushing the fitting in. All right, next, I'm gonna pull this line, pull any of the slack out of it, and then I'm gonna cut it and attach it to the supply system up front. And then that whole front end will be finished. And then I'll work my way towards the rear. All right, so I've got everything run. I've checked everything for leaks. Everything looks good. I did a little test run with it just to make sure. I have not had the car on the ground yet, so I'm gonna get some air in the tank, and then I will be dropping the car and seeing if it all works. So here's the relay for that. The switch goes in the car from here through this loom. Everything else is bound together with that. As you can see, the ground is hooked to here, and it all tested out good. The Audi fuse panel, the big main fuse panel, I was able to put an eyelet on the power wire and tap off of that with a fuse in it. Other than that, I have wrapped everything up here with this thermal cloth. Let's get the wheels on and run it. All right, got everything hooked up, ready to go. I'm gonna flip the switch onto the dash, and that should start the compressor right away. So there it is running. It's kind of loud, but that's because I didn't thread lock the nuts that go around the rubber bushings, so they're kind of vibrating loose. I'll fix that later, but overall it is working. All right, gauge reads about 80 PSI right now. So my paddle valves, left is for front, right's for rear, up is for up, obviously, and down is down. So everything seems to work. All right, so this is about my max driving height, so I can get over speed bumps, stuff like that. So let me lower it down. That's about where we'll sit for show. So let's air back up to a normal height. Well, there you have it. The free to me air suspension management. So as always, if you enjoyed this video series, or this video in particular, please go ahead and give it a like. If you want to see more of my crazy ideas, please consider subscribing to the channel. Thank you for watching. Peace out.